What you smiling at, boy?
Said, excuse me, you don't understand where I'm at. I was all around the world, on span, cross the map. I've been laying low and now it's time to pop up, bitch, I'm back. Now I'ma run it up. Snooze on the kid, are you dumb or what? You better go get your numbers up.
Yeah.
Some nostalgia there.
Nostalgia intro, baby. I think I made that like 2 years ago. What's up, folks? MCU's Bleeding Edge, Friday, 12/13/2024, with co-host Cybernetic Shark, regular special guest, Andre's the pop culture guy, myself, Jeff S, aka True Knowledge, here to discuss Blade Runner 2049. I guess you could say a quasi sci-fi classic. I read something like that in the description when I was looking it up earlier on Google. I don't know if that's actually a true depiction, but obviously we're going to flush that out. So hope everybody's doing well out there. It's getting close to the holidays. It is almost mid-December, and it's obviously wonderful to be here with fine gentlemen to discuss what I found to be a very enjoyable film that I saw for my first time today. And so I'll start off with before I even read the biops, the biopsy or whatever you want to call it from Wikipedia of the description of the film. Just give me real quick, guys, your background with Blade Runner 2049 as far as when you saw it and any of your initial thoughts on catching the film the first time. Andres.
Sure. Well, this is my first time watching it. I'm aware of the Blade Runner franchise. I've seen bits of the first film. I never really got into this IP like several ones, like I guess especially with the Scott films.
Well, the first one is pretty old. So I mean, like you're not, considering your age, like.
Not really. I like old things, and that's not really true. If you're a big movie guy, like all the old things are still great. I mean, Terminator is great. I mean, the first one, 1984, or Star Trek, Star Wars, like everything is all strong. But Blade Runner, it's a very weird thing because when you hear it, it's like it sounds like an action film, but when you see the first film, the 82 classic, it's very different. It's very dark, psychological, sci-fi, like perspective kind of film. It's very slow. I enjoy slow films, but I don't know. Something about this IP is not like the other franchise or like IPs where you get into it very quickly. But I gotta say, the sequel is not that bad. It's actually really great. I think it's better than the first one. First of all, you got the director Denis Villeneuve, who directed the Doom films, as we all kind of reviewed the first two parts this year. Because I heard really great things about this film. So I was very excited to see this film for the first time properly. And it did not disappoint. I really enjoyed it. I love the visuals. I was so happy that Richard Dickens, the cinematographer, won his first award for this film, which is great because it looks amazing. So I'm very excited to talk about this film, and here's your guys' thoughts.
All right, Cyber.
So I first saw this in theaters back in 2017. I remember it being like its last leg being in the theater around me, and it had one showing for the day, and I said, I need to go see that in theaters because I didn't get to see the first one in theaters. So I booked my way over there, watched it, and I was blown away. Just like Andres, I enjoyed it better than the first film, and I thought visually it was so amazingly done. I mean, the cinematography in it, the CGI, the music score, everything about it was just so intense and fun, and I just really enjoyed it and found it a very appeasing and very delightful film that had a lot of great things going for it, a great cast, a great director, and overall just was a interesting new take on the Blade Runner story. So I really enjoyed that mostly about it because from the first film, I like how they expanded a lot in this one. So that was great. And I think that's what made it such a great first outing, seeing it that first time.
Yeah, I imagine that the theater experience must have been something else. That's what I thought to myself when I was watching the movie earlier tonight. I watched it right before we started, basically, it's a long movie, so I really wasn't quite sure, when it was going to end at one point. I think it's 160 something minutes total. So it's a pretty long movie. But I guess when it comes to Denny Villeneuve, whatever, that's pretty much his norm, right? Is 2 hour and a half, 3 hour long type films. But so my first watch was today, and I'll save my observations for the actual breakdown and review. But so Blade Runner 2049 came out in 2017, American epic neo-noir science fiction film. That's a lot. Directed by Denis Villeneuve, from a screenplay by Hampton Fancher and Michael Green, based on a story by Fancher. It's a sequel to Blade Runner from 1982. Film stars Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford, with Ana de Armas, Sylvia Hoeks, Robin Wright, Mackenzie Davis, Dave Bautista, and Jared Leto in supporting roles. Ford and Edward James Olmos reprised their roles from the previous film as Rick Deckard and Gaff, respectively. Gosling plays Kay, a Blade Runner who uncovers a secret that threatens to destabilize society and the course of civilization. So the film did not make the amount of money it needed to make to break its break-even point of $400 million. It only did $267.5 million worldwide box office on a $150 to $185 million budget. So it failed to estimate the estimated breaking point of $400 million. But the Blade Runner 2049 did receive many accolades, including Academy Awards for Best Cinematography, Best Visual Effects. And if I can scroll down here and see what the hell else it says, out of 5 nominations. So it got nominated for 5 Academy Awards, 8 British Academy Film Award nominations, and winning for Best Cinematography and Best Special Visual Effects. A sequel television series, Blade Runner 2099, is in development at Amazon Studios, with Scott set to return as executive producer. That's interesting. I did not know that. Did any of you guys know that?
Yeah, it's been in the development for a couple of years.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Well, that seems like it could be very promising. Amazon's been coming strong, a lot stronger lately with their TV,
Yeah,
with their
that's true.
series. So that could be something else. Depending on how it looks and everything like that, and what how they go about doing it. But do you guys have any thoughts, Cyber, on the film's performance or anything like that, or anything having to do with the directing or the production or anything like that, before I get into the actual plot synopsis?
Definitely, when its box office didn't do too well, I wasn't really shocked at the time, especially because at the time it had been 35 years since the Blade Runner 1 had come out. And a lot of people were up in arms about it, simply for the fact that because Ryan Gosling was kind of the lead of the film versus Harrison Ford again, they didn't really care for that. And so I remember when it was coming out and it didn't do well financially, I remember thinking, I'm like, wow, really? Because after I saw it, I was like, this is a fantastic film. Why wouldn't people want to go see it? And I think a lot of people, unfortunately, just were, I don't know, just like out of touch with it or something. So it wasn't shocking, really, that it didn't do well. But at the same time, I'm shocked at the fact that it didn't do better than what it did. Like, I could understand if it made instead of the, say 500,000 versus 276, I could have seen it doing that. But when it only made 276, I was really shocked. I remember reading about that. But production value on this thing, it definitely was worth the $150 million because it looked fantastic. So, now I feel like down the road, just like Blade Runner 1, I think this is going to become a a cult classic as the time goes on.
Yeah, Andres, you have anything on that?
Yeah, just brief. I mean, again, the IP. It's like everyone knows Blade Runner, but it's not this like pop culture like psych, phenomenon like other things that we consume. It's no Star Wars or it's not even the Marvel MCU during this time. So when it was coming out, people was like, okay, Blade Runner, like I heard of it, but like like everyone thinks that when you have a movie that didn't perform well back in the day, right? It doesn't mean it's gonna be this big, like you're gonna get, new followers. It's like no, it's that's the same thing that what happened to Doctor Sleep, the sequel to The Shining. So it's it's just your IP has to be very relevant of today's audience, like other franchise. But there's been it's been dormant for so many years. So I was not surprised it didn't perform well. But also you have to blame also Warner Brothers like for marketing the film. Like your marketing had to be very strong to attract people. And just for me, I think the trailers and the marketing maybe didn't convey enough, about this film. And plus, the nature of the film. It's not this action, blockbuster movie that was going on. It's not. So it's very slow and very moody, and that's not. It's fine for Oscar baity film, but it's not like for this scale. Like you need to to amp up the action, but that's not the point of the film. What they're doing. So it's not the fault of the movie. It's just people expect a little. They're expecting a different movie. What it is, So that's my opinion why it didn't perform.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's no way for me in hindsight to know where the hell I was at that point, mentally with movies. When 2017 rolled around, I wasn't really, a movie goer back then. I wish I had seen this in the theaters. I'm sure it was probably a really enjoyable experience. The Villeneuve's films are visually very impressive to take in. So that's a missed opportunity, unfortunately, for me. You never know, though. Down the road, I'm sure there's probably assuming that we still have movie theaters, down the road, 10, 20 years from now. I'm sure there'll probably be cinemas that will probably have throwback nights or whatever and play this film again for people to be able to catch in the theater. But okay, so the movie starts off in 2049, 30 years after the events of Blade Runner, the original film. Bioengineered humans known as replicants are still used for slave labor. K, short for serial number KD637, a Nexus 9 replicant, works for the Los Angeles Police Department as a Blade Runner, an officer who hunts and kills rogue replicant models. After retiring replicant Sapper Morton in a really cool, really good scene that you guys can illuminate on, Kay finds a box buried under a tree at Morton's farm. It contained the remains of a female replicant who died during a cesarean section. This demonstrates that replicants could reproduce biologically, previously thought impossible. Kay's superior, Lieutenant Josie, fears this knowledge could lead to a war between humans and replicants. So she orders Kay to retire the replicant child. So I'll stop there. Go back to you, Cyber. What are your thoughts, Cyber, on the introduction of the film?
So very strong opening. I mean, gets right into the story right away, even though it's kind of a very like detective-like beginning. I know a lot of people find it, kind of slow, but at the same time, I think that it builds up, and we build up to that, right off the get-go there, getting to the farm where Dave Bautista is, and we have that, all-out brawl with him and Ryan Gosling, which was really done well. I thought the fight choreography was done well. I think that both of them did a good job of fighting each other. And I think that, they both just really kicked butt in that sequence. And, basically, Ryan Gosling going up with Dave Bautista at that time, he was still pretty much wrestling body texture there. That was a huge difference there. I mean, you look at Ryan Gosling, he was pretty thin there. I mean, he was kind of buff, but you look at Batista, 6'5" guy, Ryan Gosling, 6-foot guy, and it was kind of like, whoa, this is a toss. I think Ryan Gosling's going to be thrown around like a wet rag, but no, he held his ground and kicked butt there, and I thought they did a good job with that, making it seem very realistic and really, really great fight choreography. And also the set there on that farm, I thought was done really well. How dark looking it was and stuff like that. It was very dark colors and everything, which is very reminiscent of this film, and it looked really cool as well. And him finding that box buried beneath, I thought that was kind of an interesting little thing. Like when you first all of a sudden he's scanning and all of a sudden sees that there's something buried there. I'm like, ooh, this is a mystery. What's buried there? This is interesting. And finding out that it's, a human body or a skeleton, and that it happens to be of a female replicant, was a really interesting thought process there. And so I think that was kind of a cool thing that you didn't really get to see in the first film, where replicates were more talked about like robots versus as clones or anything like that. So I appreciate that they kind of go to the bat here right at the beginning of the film, kind of giving you this we didn't think replicates could reproduce naturally and all this kind of stuff. So I thought that was a really cool beginning to the film, getting you into your mind, hey, here's something already busting out that is not the norm for what society is at this time in this film. So I thought that was a really strong start for the film. Really done well. Introduction to Robin Wright as his boss, Ryan Gosling's boss. And I thought that was really cool too. Seeing her in something a little different from what we're used to seeing her in by that point. And for a while, I felt like she really hadn't been in very much, over the 2010s, I would say. And then all of a sudden, kind of in 2017 is when she became kind of a hot commodity again. She was in Wonder Woman, she was in this, and so I feel like she was kind of an up and rising star again there. And I thought that her introduction was done decently too, and just really well done. This section is also the first time we see him go home and meet Ana de Armas's character, and who happens to be a holographic assistant or wife or something like that he has. And I think that that introduction to her is kind of interesting too as well, and kind of learning a little bit about her, because I feel that she becomes a very intricate part of the film. And so I think getting this early introduction to her right at the beginning is really great. So really solid start to the film, really done well, taking us, into, the next several minutes of the film. It just gets really done well. And it starts off really strong, and I really enjoyed it.
Okay, Andre's pop culture guy.
Yeah, the beginning is really great. I mean, first out, the special effects look so seamless, which is really cool. I mean, the money is at the screen, which is really cool. Plus, they did a really good job of replicating. Replicating the project design, everything that you saw from the original here, and being very consistent of the Blade Runner universe. That's really neat, and I think the production team did a really good job of respecting the old crew that did the original production design. Dave Bautista is a great actor. I love that I love that he's branching out, outside of the MCU. He did Spectre 2 years before this movie was released. Yeah, and it's great to see Ryan Gosling. He's always a great actor. I love him. I mean, come on, he's Ken, for God's sake. He's great in Barbie. If you've seen that film, or Drive, Drive is a great film. I think he's a great lead here, and I think he's a great character in this film. I think he's better than Harrison Ford as the leading character. But we'll get into that. But yeah, this beginning was really great. I like the fight that we got here. It was totally unexpected. I appreciate this is rated R, just like the original. So like you got a little bit of blood here, hidden there, which is really cool. Really gruesome deaths, by the way, in this film, which is crazy and very like crave kills, I gotta say. And some of them are funny. Yeah, and then then you get the start of the mystery here. I think this was, I think the beginning here is so much better than the original one in terms of being a detective mystery and sci-fi. So much better here. Like you get the kind of like the exciting instant right away, and like okay, you're intrigued about this that a replicant like produce a child, which is shocking, and like that's a really cool sci-fi concept that we don't really touch on. The idea maybe a robot can produce or something like that, or cybernetic, whatever you want to call it. Really neat. I like that plot drive. Robin Wright, great actress. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, during this time, she was in House of the Cards in Netflix. For a couple of seasons. I think it was on his like last run, so she was probably coming back to the movies after maybe finishing that show. And so yeah, it's great to see her more movies. She was great in Wonder Woman. I think she was great here too. She plays that really cool, like the stereotypical like captain is like, hey, I tell you to get this done, get it done. Like that, but in a woman's body, which is great. Still looks great even today. I mean, she looks really beautiful today as Robin Wright. She's a incredible actress. Yeah, and then we see Kay going to the house, and we of course see the Artemis character, and I was kind of surprised she was a hologram. I thought she was going to be like a real person, and so this was a kind of interesting take on that. So but yeah, opening, I was hooked in. I like the pacing. The pacing here is really good compared to the original. The original one is like, oh my god, slog. Here is like at least the pacing here for 2049 is like very good. Like it doesn't slow or it doesn't like speed up. Like it does a good job of pacing for us to understand what's going on with the plot and characters and all that.
Okay. Yeah. And I thought the introduction was really great. I thought that opening where it had the writing really did a great job of acclimating you to the story of the film really well, quickly, and I love the picture of that eye, that they have where you see it just shows the eye, that was really cool. I really enjoyed that. And the visuals of what the world looks like what the country looks like in the future are really interesting. I love Ryan Gosling in this role. I think he's great. It's very interesting that they switched it to where the Blade Runners are mechs, are replicants now. Not humans like in the original Blade Runner movie. And I thought that the Dave Bautista scene was really interesting. And the fact that they found that he found that box with his tech, where they had the remains and all that. I still don't see how it's possible that a replicant could have a child. Like they never really explained how that's possible. But I guess it happened, so it's interesting. But okay, so Kay visits the Wallace Corporation, and that fucking crazy, sick, fucking like killer bitch, fucking replicant bitch. She's fucking crazy. What a fucking she's a sicko. She scared me. Successor to the defunct Tyrell Corporation and the manufacturer of replicants. DNA archives identify the deceased female as Rachel, an experimental Nexus 7 replicant. Kay learns of Rachel's romantic ties with former Blade Runner Rick Deckard. CEO Neander Wallace wants the secret to replicant reproduction to expand interstellar colonization. He sends his replicant enforcer, Love, who is fucking awesome in the movie, to monitor Kay. So I'll stop there. What'd you guys think, Andres, of Mr. Wallace, who I'm guessing was a replicant himself, wasn't he?
I think he's half human, but like he's a hint because he was blind. I don't know. I don't know.
He is human then? Okay, all right. I couldn't tell, but he's a great character.
Yeah, no. Mr. Wallace. I mean, not a big fan of Jared Leto as an actor, but he has good performances that I do like. I mean, he's great in Requiem for a Dream we did a couple years ago. He's great also in American Psycho as the very annoying business person that Christian Bale kills with the Harry Lewison song, Hip to P Square. Yeah, he's a great villain here. Like he looks creepy. As I say before, he's human. The film doesn't tell you what's going on with him, but like I think he's human with hence like implants where he can see by using these like drones that we see in the film where they're looking around the place he's in the room, and you see his eyes like white, and so like his eyes are like enhanced. So he's pretty much completely blind. But yeah, I agree with you, Jeff. Miss Wallace, my favorite character, crazy. Like she's like teasing him is like she's like the best apparently. I'm like, okay, she's gorgeous. I mean, I don't know. Like she's probably the best replicant hottie we've seen in this franchise, and I think she's cool. She's the best thing about this film. I really love her, and so already you see kind of like this connection between these two, characters in the film. I like how we get this investigation going. Like we discovered that the person that was in the box is Rachel, of course, the main character played by Sean Yeon in the original. So I was like, oh, well, that's really cool to tie into that. That's really neat. How the replicant reproduce? I mean, they have these kind of artificial organs like us. If I remember correctly, that's how the replicants are, because they're not like the androids where their body functions is much more mechanical. So
Andres, what did you think of the relationship between Kay and Joy, the hologenic girlfriend?
Well, we
skipped that in the beginning. I'm sorry.
No. Very interesting. Like, I mean, it's like Kay is very like cold and like like he's a replicant. If anyone knows that, spoils. But he has a very good chemistry with the actress, the Armis. I really like the relationship. You start to really like it like as a couple because she understands him. Like because she's hologram, but like she's still like a artificial intelligence, and yes, he's a replicant, but he's also artificial intelligence. So it's this like commonplace that they know each other and they have great chemistry. I really love it. I hate what happened to her, which we'll get into. But yeah, I love the actress. She's great. I mean, she was the best thing about No Time to Die, and of course she's going to be the new ballerina for the John Wick movie spinoff for this June. You, me, Jeff, and Cyber. You and me saw the trailer last Sunday. So, but yeah, I love that relationship. It's very sad how it ends.
Yes, it is. What do you think, Cyber? And sorry about that I skipped that. I didn't bring that up. And what did you think of that relationship? I really liked that. That like animated, projected character. She seems so realistic, like almost like human. I found that really interesting. And in that first scene when we meet Wallace, is that when the new replicant like falls out of the bag and he kills it and shit? Did that happen? Yeah, talk about that too.
Okay. So Yeah, the relationship that Joy and Kay have it seems real genuine. It seems like it's a real relationship, even though she's an AI program and a hologram. And Ana de Armas is such a great actress. She's so gorgeous, and later on in the film we get to see her in all her glory. And she is one of those actresses that you just kind of you can't help but fall in love with her because she's just like seems cute and sweet and just the cutest little thing ever. But and sometimes you're just kind of like, wow, this she can actually act too. And I remember thinking I wasn't too sure like how good of an actress she was until she did Knives Out. And then Knives Out she was really fantastic in. And so when she, that was after this came out, but at the same time, I think that she did a really good job in this. And I think that she did a good job of conveying like that AI program that has a love or affinity for her master, basically. That, she's thinking, it's supposed to be like her husband or her boyfriend or something like that. And I think that how she plays it off is really good at the beginning there, giving us that kind of that introduction to how their relationship is and kind of puts you into the shoes of Kay as well, giving you an idea of like, this is a very lonely replicant. And he seems to have emotions, like a human. And you can definitely see that, there's something definitely truly genuine about his love for this AI program. So I think that is conveyed really well by both parties in that relationship to start off right there. But going to, getting introduced to Jared Leto, which I think was amazing this film. I absolutely loved his character,
Me
Williams
too, Cypher. Me too.
Wallace. And I love the fact that he was kind of an interesting character at the same thing as Andres brought up. Yes, he is blind. His character is blind and he has some sort of implant that helps him to see, as we see in that scene with the birth of the replicant. And as I was rewatching this, I was going, holy shit, I forgot how much goddamn nudity was in this damn film. I'm like, why haven't I rewatched this more recently? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, like if that's a replicant I can make, I'm like, okay, thank you very much. I will make 10 of those, please.
Yeah, she was hot.
And so I was like, damn, I was like, I forgot about this. But anyways, but after she comes out of like that cocoon thing, and falls out and is like convulsing kind of as she's like trying to get herself together, and I'm like, what is this, like the birth of a shark coming out of its mother in the ocean or something? Like that's what it almost made me think of, like because the sharks come out of like a bag almost. It's like a placenta that comes out of the shark, and they come out of that tissue, and that's what it kind of made me think of. And I was like, wow, they're really going some National Geographic there for us. But like how he comes in and like he's talking with the other assistant of his, and he's like expressing himself, and he's like, he's feeling and touching things. You can see that this is a blind person. He's definitely doing things like a blind person would. But as she puts that thing into his head, it causes him to have his eyesight basically kind of whatever it does to make him be able to kind of see things. I think that is a cool thing because like it lights up his head and his eyes and stuff like that, which is really cool. And I think that that's a really good start to showing you who Wallace is, and kind of giving you an idea that this definitely is some guy that is very mad scientist like, but at the same time he's running a business, so he's definitely rich, and at the same time he also has his own agenda too. And you kind of pick that up a little bit with this beginning, when he kills that a replicant. So you get kind of a good idea offhand that this is somebody you don't want to fuck with. And I think that shines through in this scene, and I think Jared Leto does a really good job of that. And I just think that it's a really well done scene. And we're going to what point, Jeff? I'm sorry, I forgot already.
The end of that meeting or whatever,
Okay.
where he, Wallace sends Love, the replicant enforcer, to monitor Kay.
Okay, yeah, so very solid section of the film, leading up to that, like afterward, like of the meeting, leading up to that, like that kind of bodyguard watcher, whatever you want to call him. I think that was a very interesting touch to it. Once again, showing kind of Wallace's power and kind of the thought process of like, you can see Kay, even in these first few scenes, you kind of see Kay in the things rolling in his head, like, oh, there's something more to this than I'm seeing, and I'm not thinking clearly, kind of deal. Like the wheels in his head is turning most definitely, and you can see that right off the bat here. So I think that leading into that bodyguard situation there really starts to open Kay's eyes to that there's definitely something amiss going on here, and that me finding that box buried is definitely more than meets the eye as well. So I think that it's a really solid start, really great section of the film. And you get a lot of great fun information and lots of great scenes here.
Okay. Yeah. I thought I was kind of like petrified a little bit of what he was going to do to that poor fucking girl with that surgical blade. You know, I was like, Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. You know, like, because some of this shit is menacing in this film. You know, like some of the violence and the brutality is like really like visceral, you know. It kind of puts you off guard a little bit almost. Did you guys feel like that at all during some of these scenes?
Yeah.
That's where the neo-noir comes in really hard. And hence why this movie got that name. The same thing with the first film. It's kind of the detective work that goes into it. So in order to have that detective work, you got to have kind of that bad guy in the shadows type of deal. So yeah, I had that feeling throughout this whole entire film.
Yeah, I just cringed a couple times about what was going to happen next with some of those violent moments or whatever. You know, I was like cringing almost, like, oh fuck, what's going to happen now? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to see some of it. You know, almost. You know, because it was violent.
Yeah, the first time,
and there's some really depressing stuff that happens too.
Yeah, no. When it kicked in was when I know we're not in that scene, but like when we got to the evidence thing with the bones, and when she killed him, that was where I was like, whoa, that was like brutal, like because we saw the eyes like bloodshot with red blood. I was like, whoa, I was like crazy. Yeah,
well,
I was very.
That's coming up, but yeah, that's because she's a replicant and she hit him so hard and like in such a specific area of his body that she killed him with one blow.
Yeah. Oh,
that was very that was very violent.
Yeah.
And they killed off our boy on that one. You know, that's what's his name from Suicide Squad.
Polka Dot Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name,
David Dashmalin.
David. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
David Dashmalin.
Yeah. They have a really great ensemble cast in this film, I thought. I didn't know the names of some of the actors and actresses, but I thought that they did a really good job. So at Morgan's farm, Kay finds the date 6/10/21, which I'm still kind of like confused about all this kind of shit. You guys will have to explain this to me later on. Carved into the tree trunk and recognizes it from a childhood memory of a wooden toy horse. Because replicant memories are artificial, Kay's holographic AI girlfriend, Joy, believes this is evidence that Kay was born, not created. Kay discovers in LAPD records 2 children born on that date with identical DNA, aside from the sex chromosome, but only the boy is listed as alive. Kay tracks the child to an orphanage, but the records from that year are missing. Kay recognizes the orphanage from his memories and finds the toy horse in the furnace where he remembers hiding it. Replicant memory designer Dr. Anna Stefflin confirms that his memory of the orphanage is authentic, leading Kay to conclude he is Rachel's son. Kay then fails a baseline test, marking him as rogue. When he implies to Joshi that he killed the replicant child, she gives him 48 hours to pass the test or he will be retired. So back to you, Cyber. Another great set of scenes, right? I'm still confused with this movie with what like if this guy was a replicant, if Kay was a replicant the whole movie, why did he have these authentic memories of the horse?
All right. So yeah, this section is really when it starts to get into the meat of the story. Really diving Kay into finding out all the truths. And it just is so well constructed and so well written and just played so well by everyone involved. Ryan Gosling's portrayal of Kay is really fantastic in this film. And like his emotionless, like thought process that he provides throughout this whole film with his acting is spot on perfection for a replicant. It's really done well. And so, as we find out that he supposedly has these memories that are real, we find out he thinks that Rachel is his mom, that he's the replicant that was born to the replicant. We start finding all these pieces, and this is where it starts to really pull Kay in and realizing, there's even more to this story, and he's got to figure it out. And basically him like starting to have like these issues, like he's very human like, as he's going through these tests that he has to do, that cause Robin Wright's character to say he has got to get his head together so that he could pass the test. I think that that really shows that there's definitely something different about him as a replicant, and that he's definitely something different. And so this whole section too as well is really fun because we have a lot of great cinematography going on in this sequence. We see a lot of great imagery. We see a lot of different things throughout this section as Kay is doing his kind of his detective work and stuff like that. The look of the station where he has to go and get checked in all the time is really cool, and just everything about that. And as the movie progresses, we see more and more of him kind of becoming more and more human versus being a replicant. We definitely see more emotion out of him, more thought process out of him and stuff like that. So I think that this whole section really kind of envelopes kind of where Kay is at and kind of all the different things that he's having to deal with and to progress towards to try to figure things out. Because at the same time, like we've mentioned about replicants, is they're supposed to be emotionless, not supposed to have any thought process like a human or anything like that. They're supposed to be very like cold, like a robot. And so the fact that he's starting to think these things and he's discovering these things is definitely changing who Kay is as his person, whatever person he is. If he's a replicant, a half human, whatever that is, you could definitely see that this is altering and pushing Kay towards finding out the 100% truth. Because as this movie starts off with him finding that body to begin with, I feel he was sent there to take care of that job, to find that, and kind of to help start opening things up. And I think that there's, as we go on the film, we'll see more and more as it kind of pieces the pieces together, as it brings, Kay to a conclusion. But this section I just really enjoy because there's so much great things going on here that are very entertaining, very interesting, and just really off the wall fun. And learning about the whole thing where there was the 2 children born, that aside from the sex chromosome, the one boy being alive and the other one not being alive is kind of an interesting story too, because that too also is kind of making Kay conflicted too as well, and not understanding kind of what is really going on here, and why do I have why could this possibly be true, and why are these memories still true, and stuff like that. So Kay is dealing with a lot here, and right off the get-go we get this great fantastic little middle section that really gets us going and like makes you think, holy shit, what is actually going on? So I think it's a really great part that really pulls us in and keeps us enticed and wanting more.
So if I understand it correctly, the reason he had that memory of the horse is because the real daughter, right, that he went to see, right, the real daughter, implanted that real memory from the girl in his head for some reason.
Yeah, that's what's going on. Yeah,
Is
it was
that
just
is
a
that
way.
is that correct, Andres? For some reason, she implanted that real, authentic memory in his head.
Yeah, that's what happened, so that no one knows where her location is, because everyone, everyone
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the
When he goes,
assistant is protecting her.
when he
Yeah,
goes, when he goes to visit her, he doesn't know that she's the daughter. He
no,
doesn't know.
no, yeah, he doesn't know yet. It's pretty
He
much
just
like,
knows he just knows that she's like the top like image like memory programmer or whatever out there that works for
yeah,
Wallace. Right, Cyber? Do you understand why I was confused, Cyber?
Yes. Yeah, I get. Yeah. Yep. It is
yeah,
very confusing unless you're really paying attention.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a very intricate film. There's a lot to it, and it does get kind of stuff gets kind of haywire a little bit. So it's hard to kind of reconcile or understand at times what the fuck is really going on. But I believe at that point in the movie, Kay also bumps into that synthetic prostitute on the street too with her friends. That also occurs during this part at that point in the film. Um, so okay, uh, Joy hires replicant prostitute. There she is, right here, the one I was talking about, Mariette, as a surrogate for her to have sex with Kay, which was a really great scene. The following morning, Mariette places a tracker on Kay's jacket. Oh, that's what she was doing. I thought she was trying to steal his money, to being sent away by a jealous Joy. Analysis of the toy horse leads Kay to the ruins of a radioactive Las Vegas. There he finds Deckard, who informs him he is the father of Rachel's child and scrambled the birth records to protect their offspring's identity. Deckard left the child in the custody of the Replicant Freedom Movement. Love kills Joshi and tracks Kay to Las Vegas. She kidnaps Deckard, destroys Joy, which was devastating, and leaves a weakened Kay behind. Using Mariette's tracker, the Replicant Freedom Movement rescues Kay. When their leader, Fressa, discloses to him that Rachel's child was a girl, Kay deduces that Stephaline is her daughter and that the toy horse memory is hers. Fearing Deckard may give up Stephaline or the Freedom Movement to Wallace, Fressa urges Kay to kill him. So I'll stop there. Another big chunk of the film. Going back to you, I forget where I was at. Andres, I'll go to you. What are your thoughts on that section of the film, sir?
okay. This is where the nitty gritty gets really juicy for the plot. Now that like Kay, played by Ryan Gosling, is like, questioning who he is. Like, is he the son of Deckard, played by Harrison Ford? I wasn't. Yeah, I was kind of surprised they like, I thought it was, until we got the big reveal, of course, of the daughter, right? So I was like, oh, this is really intriguing. And by the way, before that, we had to mention when he was trying to find records of the kid. He meets up the Walking Dead Morgan, which was really cool to see. He was in this film.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, so
Letty, what's his name? Letty what? Letty Smith?
Letty, yeah, Leigh Smith, he was named. I thought that scene was really cool. Yeah. So after that, he goes back to his apartment. This is where I like Joy here. She's being a really good girlfriend, trying to give him the experience. It's something that we saw similar to her, where like Samantha hired like a sex worker to like be physically there for Theodore. And that's what kind of Joy was.
That's crazy. That's crazy though. That like, as a holographic person or whatever, she had the ability to contact the prostitute, and like, pay her and order her and all that.
Yeah. Very advanced, I gotta say. But it makes kind of sense. I guess, the hologram is doing all the duties in the house, so it makes sense that she has access to all that. So yeah, it was really cool to see that, and it was really cool to see her morph into like a redhead. So that was really nice. Yeah, I kind of like how Joy was jealous of her, a little bit. That was really neat.
Like, how did Joy
Uh,
find her? You know what I mean? Like she sees everything that Kay sees, right? Like
yeah,
she experiences it.
yeah. So it's just a nitpick. It's so convenient that out of all the sex workers in the city they're in, they picked the one that she met before, before this. And I was like, really? So
No,
convenient.
no, 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 because Joy said you liked her.
Oh, she knew. Okay, okay. Okay, that
Yeah,
makes
she
sense.
said
'Cause
she said you liked her, right, Cyber?
yeah, I think I remember now. Yeah, right? Because, yeah, she did say you like her. Yeah.
What was the question?
Did when they hired the prostitute? Didn't Joy say you liked her to Kay?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, because
Okay.
she
Yeah.
was like when he sees that she's there, and he's kind of like, mentioning to Joy, he's kind of like trying to give her like um like signals that why is she here kind of deal, and like she's like, but
Mm,
you liked her, didn't
yeah.
you? Because apparently Kay did have some sort of response
Yeah,
to her.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
She
and
was like,
she saw that.
she was like, I saw you liked her or whatever. Isn't that
Okay.
Cyber? Isn't that so neat that they have the technology with those like halogenic people that they can actually interact with other people like that and all that and contact people in the outside world and things like that.
I mean, yeah, that's very interesting because if you think about it, it's kind of like a form of Alexa or a form of the AIs
Mm,
that you can get now on your smartphones and stuff
yeah.
like that can do that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's not that far fetched. And I mean, as time goes on, I mean, as we've seen from Tesla, they have working robots that they're starting to be putting out next year that people could buy for $20,000 that are full on scale robots that can do housework for you. They can talk to you, everything. It's the most freakiest thing I've ever seen. But at the same time, it's so freaking cool. Like I'm like, how did you create that, Elon? How did you create that? I must have one because that is like a giant toy I would love to have. And
I know.
when I
I know
watched the
that
Yeah.
video, I was
20,
like,
20 grand is pretty steep though.
That's
Oh,
the price.
yeah.
That's like cheaper than a car.
True. Yeah, very true.
And you could,
So yeah. So after the night is over, yeah, I was kind of curious what she was doing. It was a tracker she for in the code because we see
And Joy
again.
Joy is so human, and Joy is so human that she actually has jealousy towards the girl and like tells her to leave.
Yeah, yeah, that was cool too. Because I mean, she's more hotter than what was her character's name? T or something like
Oh,
that. I don't know.
the prostitute. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, the prostitute, the sex worker, was okay. So yeah, then after that, Kay goes find Harrison 4, and then we get another big shock. It was the death of the captive, and this is where Miss Wallace or Love, as she's called, is really great. Like she starts to cry, and then she starts to like ask questions. Where is Kay? And like the fact she crushed the hand of Robin Wright's with the glass is so like cruel and brutal. And of course, slashing her in the stomach was really like wow, really just badass. And then she's dropped to the floor, and to gain access, this is where it was. I don't know, you guys chuckled this part when she grabs her head, the dead Robin Wright's head, and like
We
get
we, we,
access.
we did we even get that far?
You say up to that part, um,
Okay,
or
yeah, you're right. Okay.
yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what's the stopping point. Tell me what's the stopping point because I know.
No, you're right. You're right.
Okay.
You're right. By now, that's transpired.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
that is that is that is that is a really good scene too.
Yeah. It is a really good scene, and like she scanned the head there, and then the head just bounced off to the floor, which is funny. It's like I'm done with you. And then
it was savage when she broke that glass in her hand that was crushing her hand with the glass and shit. You know what I'm saying? That shit was scary, bro.
yeah, it was scary and also funny, and that she had to grab her head again and to gain access to the location of K. And then after she was done, she like throws her body again to the floor, which was hilarious. I was like, "What? Wow!"
That bitch was maniacal. That love bitch or whatever. You know what I'm saying? What the replicant bitch? She was fucking sick, bro. Was the enemy?
Yeah, yeah. She's crazy. Yeah, I love her character. She's so badass and a very great villain. I gotta
So
say.
I love. She's brutal. She's brutal using those knives, man. Like knives scare me, bro.
I mean, oh god, yeah, knives are very scary. Okay, and then next, we're up to the point where Kay meets Decker at this point, or that's the stopping point because I don't want to go.
Let's see.
Yeah, because I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're at that. We've come to that point. Yes.
Yeah, so seeing like actually, I gotta say, I was surprised we were halfway through the film. Like this was like a half hour in.
We've gone. We're going all the way to the point where Fraser discloses to Kay that Rachel's child was a girl and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like the underground people
Okay.
and all that. And you
Yeah.
know, and they tell Kay to go kill Deckard.
Yeah. I remember that. Okay, yeah. So Decker, is reappear again. We get the information that he let he let his daughter be protected by the robot resistant, right? We call it. And this is where Harrison Ford is really great. I like his performance here. We love the old crotchety, Harrison Ford, and he really is putting effort because of this like Decker performance. I think this is his best performance ever, and I thought he had good chemistry with Ryan Gosling. And so you got the twist that that Kate is not the son, but instead it's it's the daughter is the kid for Decker and Rachel. So that was really great. And then of course they get fined by Love with the drone they sent, and then they destroyed the hover car, and he's been taken by the bad guys, and of course what was it, Kay was trying to rescue him, and then all of a sudden Love comes in and she starts beating up you know um Kay, and then this is where I hate her. And it's like she has to kill Joy, and it's like no. When she popped up here, I was like, no, do not destroy Love, Joy, and yeah, she kills Joy, and I was so upset about that. So yeah, yep, but the sequence is really good. This is where I was really hooked on the film. This is my favorite part of the film. Just a lot of ton of tense slash action scenes we got here, and they're pretty good, well shot.
Okay, Cyber.
All right, so this big chunk of film, we go through a lot. I mean, this is where we have, Joy hires the prostitute for Kay, and she like basically kind of re-images herself over her to be able to, pretend that she's really giving Kay what he wants from her. And of course, we have, Kay getting a tracker placed on him by Mariette. And, Joy is jealous, of course, so sends her away. We find out that the toy horse, gets analyzed and leads, Kay to Las Vegas, a radioactive Las Vegas, where we end up finally get to see Deckard, a.k.a. Harrison Ford, finally. This is, like an hour and a half almost into the film by the time we first get to see Deckard, who was the biggest prominent character in the first film. And we kind of get to know a little bit like what he's been up to, along with finding out that he's really the father of Rachel's child, and that he screwed things up so that the birth records could protect her life, and that she could live a normal life and not be having to be a part of the replicants unfortunate livelihood. At this point too is in the film we get to the death of Josie. We get Love coming and tracking down Deckard and Kay into Vegas. Deckard gets kidnapped. Unfortunately, Joy gets destroyed, which is a very emotional one for Kay. As we see it, it's done very well choreographed, very well played by Ryan Gosling. The demise of Kay, unfortunately, because you really get to see that in this moment. It really shows how much Kay really loved Joy, even though she was an AI artificial, hologram or program. He literally had feelings of love for her because he spent almost every time he wasn't out working with her, and he had a fondness for her. And I think Ryan Gosling did an amazing job of bringing that to life, and that heartache and heartbreak of losing Joy because of her being, even though she was just destroyed, she was just a program, still to him she was like a person, she was like a real person that was his and was like his love interest, his wife, his partner in crime. It was done so well, and you felt all the emotion, and they just did an amazing job bringing that to life and giving you that feeling, because anybody can fall in love with something, and you can really appreciate things. And it could be your dog, it could be a cat. I mean, it could be some sort of animal that you have come close to. And it was just really, moving that the writing just, it's so well with that, bringing that demise of Joy to life. And I thought that was really done well. And then, of course, using Marriotte's tracker, Kay is able to, he's able to find the freedom movement, and they're able to rescue Kay. At this point, we find out that the leader, Frasier, that Rachel's child was a girl. Kay finds this out. He's told this by Frasier. And then, of course, by this point, after the information Kay's given, he deduces, of course, that, Stellan is that daughter. And, we get kind of that, once again, that wheels turning in his brain type of deal at this point, him figuring that out and so like that, and showing that his mind is more like a human's mind than a replicant, and keeps like kind of oozing into that, even though we know at this point that he isn't the child that they were referring to, but still there's something different about Kay, and he's definitely not like your normal replicant. Of course, that, and then this is at the point too where we find out that memory that's implanted his memory is really Stelline's real memory from her childhood. And then, of course, this is when we find out that Kay thinks that maybe Deckard will crumble underneath the attempts by Love and everything, and give away Stellan, and he's worried about that, so he urges Frasier to kill him, or Frasier urges Kay to kill him, and that's pretty much the breaking point we're at, the end point, which the character of Frasier, who is played by Hayam Alabis, I thought they did a really good job. I really enjoyed their character. I thought it was really done well. I thought they were an interesting leader. And I think they really brought to life that character and gave us a really good performance that I think was a very audible and admirable, supporting character in the film that really worked out well. The action sequences and the kind of the talking and the like kind of meetups and stuff like that they have together, Kay and Frasier, I think they work out really well and really bring some flavor to the film. And they really are played off really well by both in those scenes. And I thought that was really done well. Fantastic section of the film. Lots of great information, lots of heartache. and some great action as well. The cinematography in this section is amazing as well, especially when they get to radioactive Las Vegas. That is
Yeah.
absolutely so cool. It looks so awesome. And
Yeah.
that on the
Uh,
big screen was amazing.
what's his name's pad? Decker's pad is great.
Agreed. But yeah, really solid section of the film and done really well.
Yeah, you mentioned a good point, Cyber. I'm sure I personally thought there were several performances from the cast that were outstanding. I thought Robin Wright's performance was outstanding as her character, as the lieutenant or whatever. I loved her death scene. It was very violent. Watching that love bitch really stabbed the fuck out of her. You know what I'm saying? Like she slit her open and then she fucking like really stabbed her. You know. That was brutal. And the chick who played Love was great. She was really solid as a scary ass, enforcer throughout the film. I thought she was outstanding. And I'm sure you guys probably thought there were certain characters that stood out in their roles. It was a really well casted film. Was there anybody particular, Andres, that you want to mention that we haven't talked about that stood out to you as far as their role in the film? I mean, Ryan Gosling was outstanding in the film.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out the daughter. I know she's not in the film enough, but I thought the daughter that we have her, that's the daughter for Decker and Rachel, was really good. I thought so. I thought she was really great, and you could tell she's like a daughter of those people from the original. So I thought they were good. I'm thinking what the other one. Yeah, everyone was cast really well. I wish we had more time with them because Sai brought up the like resistant leader, and I forgot we saw that character from the with the prostitute. I kind of wish we had more time with her and like have more. I feel like this movie is so long, but like we never had spent time with the build up of the robot resistance that we kind of hearing in this film. I think it should have been more the focus, but at the same time, I think the movie is perfect, and I don't know how you can do that, but yeah. No, I thought the daughter was the best. The other actress that was very good. So.
Cyber, any thoughts? I know you. I know you already mentioned that you really enjoyed what's his name playing Mr. Wallace. I really thought he was great too.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, everyone was really well casted in this film. They all did a really amazing job. All the different characters, from the gal that played Love, to Edward James Olmos as Gaff, Barkhad Abdi as Doc Badger, David Dashman as Coco. All of them all just did a really good job. And that Sylvia Hoeks, who plays Love, she's a Dutch actress that was kind of like kind of one of her first big leading roles. That was like her first like kind of like English speaking role, or like out of the Netherlands or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that she did a decent job playing that character. I mean, she played a really good evil character.
Oh, very, very evil.
Yeah, and she just was really good at it, and I think that she
Very,
has
very, very ruthless. The way that she killed Dashiell was really sadistic, like really bad.
Yeah, and I think that she did do a really good job in playing a really evil chick, and I hopefully she's not really like that in real life, but you never know. But
when she's talking like through the computer, like when she shoots those missiles or whatever to save Kay, right? And she's like, "Okay, now do your fucking job and find the child or whatever." You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. Do you think that she's a replicant? You know what I mean? Like why is she so emotional like that?
Yep. It's funny the gal that played Mariette, her name's Mackenzie Davis. She actually was in the Terminator Dark Fate movie that came out a couple years ago.
I knew I recognized her from something.
Yeah, she played the main like robot, like Terminator chick in Dark Fate. that was her, and she plays that Mariette. So I think it's funny because I remember watching her in Dark Fate, going, "Have I ever seen her before?" And then when I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh shit, I've seen her in several films." I'm like, "Why don't I recognize her?"
I never saw Dark Fate, but I've seen her in other films before. She's been in several films.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, I think that she did a decent job at it too. And she's very much like a chameleon, which I find very interesting how she's able to blend in.
At one point, didn't she have some popularity in Hollywood a little bit for a stretch and actually like do some work?
It was around Dark Fate, and kind of Dark Fate after she was that kind of tanked.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, a lot. Just really, I mean, I think that's one thing that with Villeneuve, you got to give him credit for is he really does a great job casting his secondary characters. You know what I'm saying? In all his films that I've seen, there's really great secondary casting performances. Of course, he attracts really good, talented people too, right? But there's always these great secondary characters, like in Dune, Wouldn't you agree that in Dune there's a lot of really strong secondary characters?
For Doom, for the both films, the Doom films.
Yeah, either one. I don't know, both of them. Yeah.
That's a tough one. Well, there's more actors.
You don't think there's good secondary characters in the Dune films? Oh, okay. There's good actors.
No. I mean, no. I like the secondary actors. I love Harvard Beden character, and that's one of the leader for the Fremens. No. I think the Dune films had the greatest secondary characters. I actually like. I think Blade Runner 2049 does have a couple, but it's not too many as like the Dune films. That's my thing. But yeah, but I mean, again, this director has attract a lot of great actors, so I mean, it's very impressive to see these actors in this one film.
It was emotionally moving seeing that love chick actually step on and kill that the device that killed Joy. You know, and she dies saying "I love you" and all that kind of shit. That was something else. The whole story of their relationship throughout the film is just such an interesting thing. It really is. It's remarkable.
Yeah.
That character, the Joy character, as brings a lot to the film, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. She does a lot of like the meat of the films and its themes very well.
Well, she seems to be highly intelligent too. Like she actually helps Kay with his stuff. Did you notice that?
Yeah, she kind of helps him be more human. That's the thing. Like,
well, she's aware she's aware of everything that's going on with him. She can see, like, she knows what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's like the opposite of love because sorry, I'm eating my carrots here, but like one of the commentators brought up how love knows that she's a replicant as well, and like you look at Joy, who knows she's a hologram and knows about what's going on with Kay and all that. It's interesting how she's way more like comfortable about her situation and like wants to help out Kay. Where you look at Love, she's like this, like like she doesn't like the idea she's a replicant, and it's just twisting her mind a little too far. Similar to the way Kay is getting affected by the case. Just any other detective. So yeah, like Love is like that support that Kay needs, like for emotionally, and I think that's what makes Joy interesting.
Yeah, no, Joy is like cognizant in real time of what's going on. Like when Kay crashes his plane, she's outside the thing, trying to wake him up and all that. Like she really is almost like a human being, in that stick. And for her to like have to tell Kay to delete, her back, like her backup on the server or whatever at his apartment. That was really deep. I really felt like that was a really deep relationship. Cyber, you have any thoughts on that?
No, not really. I pretty much mentioned that earlier when I was talking about Joy's death. and kind of their relationship, and basically the same thing. You could definitely tell that there was definitely a real relationship there. You could see it by the love that Kay had for Joy, and all that sincerity, and the backup is really kind of his only saving joy to have Joy in that aspect. So I think that it really talks and tells itself with how good that acting was by both of their parts.
Okay, so we get to the end here. So Love takes Deckard to meet Wallace, who offers Deckard a duplicate Rachel in exchange for information about his child's whereabouts. He refuses, and so Love kills the duplicate because the duplicate doesn't have the right eye color as Rachel. As Love transports Deckard to be tortured off-world, Kay intercedes. He fights and drowns Love to death, but is severely wounded in the process. Yeah, he got fucked up like in that fight. Kay stages Deckard's death to protect him from Wallace and the replicant freedom movement before taking Deckard to Stephalin's office and handing him her toy horse. As Kay dies on the steps looking up at the falling snow, Deckard enters the building and tearfully meets his daughter for the first time. That's the wrap for the end of the film. Going back to you, Cyber, what are your thoughts, sir?
The ending of this film is, great and very powerful at the same time. Very sad ending, because you're rooting for Kay through the entire film, and yet, unfortunately, he gets so messed up, and he's basically dying. At the end of this film, it's just really sad because you really feel for Kay, and you really enjoy Kay, and you fall in love with this character throughout the film. So it's a very, hard, kind of death, along with Joy's death earlier in the film, that you really feel for Kay. And then, of course, then right with that, you get, Deckard finally getting to meet his daughter, which is another big, like, emotional roller coaster, and so you have so much great action at the end of the film with, Love being drowned to death and that fight sequence. And then all of a sudden, all this very emotional stuff. It's a very strong, powerful ending that is, like I said, an emotional roller coaster. But at the same time, you realize that this is, a happy moment because Deckard's finally get to meet his daughter. But at the same time, you're losing such a great person as Kay, who through this whole entire film is basically sacrificing himself for everything to help with this to go on. And it's such a great story and so well directed and so well acted, and everything about this ending is just such amazing and fun and just so well done. And it just really pulls at the heartstrings. And I think that, Dennis did a great job of bringing that to life and giving us this very interesting and really well orchestrated ending to, a great extension of that already first Blade Runner film. And you just really see all the heart that was poured into this film in this very ending of this film. So really well done, section of the film. Very great ending. Great visuals once again. I mean, the cinematography, the music, and this whole ending sequence too is so phenomenal as well. It's just a really well done film.
Okay, Andre the Pop Culture Guy, sir. Final thoughts.
Yes. The climax of the film, very spectacular. Love it. Oscar worthy. I mean, the effects, the cinematography here is just splendid. I like how we ended the film here. I mean, first up, the whole like battle in the cars in the like the rain was really cool. I like how like Love gets defeated. It's so brutal. So I like how her commanders was. It was really cool. I didn't expect to see Rachel, and as we watch all these movies, we always had this debate about the de-aging thing. I think the de-aging of Rachel here, Sean Young's as herself in this character was not that bad. It's actually really good. It wasn't like uncanny as some of the aging actors we've seen in a couple of the films we've seen recently, or a couple of years ago. I thought it was really good. I like the way we ended it. Like I love that twist where you say like you got the colors run. They're supposed to be green. That I was like, oh wow. And so, and then all of a sudden, bam! Love shoots her with the head. So that was like, wow. Yeah, and then shockingly, Kate gets survived by the resistant, and they tell them that they need to kill Decker. So because they want to prompt the daughter to be like this sort of John Carter leader for this resistant, and so it's now like the choice for Kate to do what is right or wrong. And him talking. Well, first, Cyber brought up, the naked nudity of this film. Like all of a sudden when Kate goes outside and thinking about the situation, right? He meets up again this like another version of Joy about the hologram, but she's fully naked, which is crazy. I mean, wow, yeah, like oh my god, I love her, the blue hair. It's like, oh my god, I was like, whoa, like it was like this huge, like 12 feet. I was like, what the heck? It was crazy. Um, yeah, and like maybe more sad. It's like, oh come on, why you had to do that to me? It's like ridiculous. Um, yeah, and then I think that seeing Joy again, made him make the decision to like try to save Decker and like hopefully like turn the tides around. So after rescuing Decker and from the crazy bitch lady, and by the way, I was surprised he survived. Like speaking of recommend, like the fact he gets stabbed twice, well, stabbed one time and then gets shot again. It's like I can't believe he survived that long for like the last shot. So yeah, I think he did die. I because some of the commentators here in the chats just been kind of asking like, did he die or not? Like I think he died. I mean, like he got stabbed and getting shot. Like that's easily a way to get killed quickly. But yeah, I think the ending was really awesome and very emotional. Just seeing Harris, Decker, like closing into the glass was really cool. We don't get the evolution of her hearing that's the dad and all that. So overall, very spectacular film. Very happy how it ends. I think this is a better film over the first one. So really enjoyed.
Okay. And you guys have any final thoughts on that sort of final battle that they had, Cyber or Andres? If you guys want to pitch it at all on that final battle that they had, where Harrison Ford's character gets freezed and they have that final fight in the ocean or whatever.
It was well choreographed. I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was a very interesting take on a fight sequence too, having it in water, having it be kind of all encapsulated in that ship. And I thought that the fight choreography on that person on the fight choreographer himself, what he came up with for that fight sequence was done super well. And I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a really good job. And I thought that, the actions between all the characters there all worked out really well. And it looked brutal. It looked good. It looked like, it took them some time to learn the moves, and it looked really realistic. So I thought they did a really good job with it, and I really enjoyed it.
It was brutal. And you tell me, Cyber, I don't know, Andres. I'm telling you, when I see those moments in these fucking movies where they have knife fights involved, and it's a person having to square off against somebody with a knife, my heart rate goes up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like really intense. You put yourself into their shoes and you have to imagine, right? Like how hard it would have to be to fight off somebody with a big fucking knife like she had. I mean, that shit's crazy, right? I mean, then she pulls out a second knife too. She was menacing with those knives.
Super
Andres,
menacing.
oh hell yeah! I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Andres, you got
Yeah.
anything on the knifing?
Yeah. No. I was talking to Cyber here about the Jack Cray's new movie, but anyway, yeah. This part was really cool. It's well directed. Um, it was well shot. I mean, first that the effects are really seamless here. Under the dark and the rain is really good. I like how Harrison Ford still has a chain to the cufflinks, and so it's a time it's like taking time for Kate to rescue him. And at the same time, yeah, I agree with Jeff. When we get the knife thing, it's like, oh my god. I mean, first off, like ladies move very fast against boys, so her moving of the knives him was very quick and fast, especially for like a replicant, like because replicants move fast, as you see with Kay without the film. Because we haven't talked about it, like Kay as a replicant can do a lot of like superhuman like strength here. Like you see how he fights with people, like especially when he was like going over the like that junkyard thing in the later half of the film, and like there were a bunch of scavengers, and like he beats them up very quickly, so like Kate can defend himself, but because with Love, who is another replicant, like that's really hard, because she's not human, so like it's like an even fight there. So it was like intense, and it was like very exciting because we needed the action to make the film like go out for a band.
Yeah, most definitely, I do. Okay, so that is the end of the film. Let's do our ratings before we plug out of here and call this one, folks. Cyber, you want to lead us off on your rating?
I give it a solid 10, sir. I think it's a really well crafted film. I really enjoyed it. It was very entertaining. It just had a lot of great moments to it, lots of great nudity. It had everything that I enjoy about a good R-rated film. Great action, great story, great chicks, all that kind of good stuff. So I have to give it a solid 10. It was just very entertaining.
Yeah, it's good to see nudity in a sci-fi film. You don't see that often. But it was definitely good nudity. I'll give it a 10 on the nudity and a 10 on the film, too. What do you think, Andres?
Okay. Thank you, Delay. I'm sorry. Oh my god. I'll give it a 10 as well. I give it a 10 because it's a great sequel to an original classic that I think it improves it more. Yes, it was cool to see women, all beautiful women in the film that were very sexy, and we see a lot of nudity, so I was very happy about that. Especially hologram nudity, like large woman. I mean, like that was like cool. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say. 10 out of 10. Cool moments. Great story. Great cast. Great special effects. And great cinematography. So everything you want for a sci-fi is all in this sequel. So I highly recommend to watch.
Okay, good deal. Oh, it looks like I've neglected the comment section here for quite a while. I apologize. I get absent-minded sometimes, folks, while we're doing these reviews. So I just stare off in space and don't even realize it. But
another Aussie for us.
Oh, we got an Aussie. Hey, Delight loves movies. If you're still with us, Western Australia, that's fabulous. We love you, Aussies. You're wonderful people. Glad that you decided to join us. Thank you very much. Cyber and the nudity, most definitely. And she gives it a 10. A 10. She gives it a 10 also. Good for her. All right.
Also,
so
thank you, Nightshade as well. There was another person as well. Nightshade was also the commentator as well, besides Delight. So thank you, Nightshade, for coming as well.
You're right. Nightshade, thanks. We really appreciate it. Sorry that I'm so absent-minded and I didn't get a hold of you, but I'm sure Cyber took care of it. So thank you, Cyber. So, all right, guys, that was a great review. I really enjoyed that one. Great film. Really enjoyed watching it. Very watchable. Very watch it againable. Definitely one of the best films I've watched in a while. Overall. And of course, next Friday we have Broken Arrow. So we're going to go, we're going back in the day. for some Christian Slater Broken Arrow action next Friday. That'll be interesting. So I really enjoyed reviewing this movie, guys. I really thanks a lot. It was fun doing the review with you, Cyber Andres. As usual, that was a fun one. Good conversation, good discussion. Good show. Up everything on the up and up. 100%. So I'm loving the energy. Good holiday spirit, guys. So, Andre's a pop culture guy. I'll go first for you for plugs because I've seen that I've seen like 27 notifications from your channel in like the last 3 or 4 days. So I see him constantly. Sometimes I see him we'll get done with the show, and at 3:00 in the morning, I'll see Andres uploading content at 3:00.
Well,
Yep.
hey.
Yep. That's what happens when you have no life.
Exactly. Well,
Exactly.
thank you for telegraphing me that in the live stream. Well, hey, like, what else do you want to do? I have no job yet, so this is what I'm doing in my spare time is doing content. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us for the Blade Runner 2049
In your spare time?
review. Yes, in my spare
It's
time.
all spare time, I thought.
Whatever. Don't listen to Cyber here, folks. He's a half man, half shark.
Time Cop Time Lord is very dedicated to his individual content.
What?
So
Exactly.
he finds time out of his schedule to come on the bleeding edge.
Exactly. So I recently posted a Terminator 40th anniversary, so check them out. Done under the classic sci-fi thriller from 1984. I posted like a trailer for Diarrhea for the Artemis John Wick spin-off. Some new shorts. Yeah, very good trailer. So I'm gonna start new shorts after this live stream. So check out the live stream right now. I'm doing some Batman stuff. So hope you enjoy that. But yeah. That's for that. I just want to thank everyone for joining us. Please support me, hit that like button, and subscribe.
Look at that nice full YouTube channel with all the categories have stuff on them. Lives, you got lives, you got shorts now, you got videos. Do you have playlists?
Yeah. Oh, a lot.
Oh yeah. Look, you got playlists too. There you go. You got your MCU's Bleeding Edge guest spot playlist. That's good. There you go. That's what we like to see. Andre's a pop culture guy. Very robust YouTube channel. Now
10 years.
10 years. I know, sir. Hats off to you. That's a lot more many years than the Bleeding Edge has been around. Where the hell do I have you at here, Cyber?
I don't know.
I thought I had you. I got it now. I got it now. I lost it there for a minute, but now I got it. So,
okay.
So Cyber, you just need to get that one live in, or 2 of those lives in, man, so that you can fill in your live comment, your live section.
Yeah, I'll get there eventually when I have more time. Unlike some people, I don't have much time these days.
We know that, sir. We're very respectful of the fact that you are a hardworking man and very dedicated to your content creation. And you have been on YouTube for over 10 years now as well. So we commend you, sir.
I salute you, Cyber.
I've been on YouTube 13 years, going on 14. So remember that, folks.
Excuse me, sir. I did not mean to undersell your YouTube. Whatever the fuck you want to call it. I did not mean to disrespect your tenure on YouTube. It's hard to remember these things sometimes. I've been your friend for a long time, but certain things I just don't remember sometimes. So, but I mean, I was close.
You were very close, sir. You did a good job. Don't worry. Andres. Anyways, as you can see here, if you enjoy me here on the panel or as a moderator, you can find me under Cybernetic Shark. You'll find me on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Patreon, pretty much any social media platform you'll find me on. But as you can see here on my YouTube channel, my most recent reviews were the Wicked film and Red One, which is a Insta Christmas classic. Believe me, in 10 years, the movie's going to be like, I watch it every year. But anyways, if you have not seen Wicked, please watch this review. It's a very interesting film and very, very interesting review there, guys. If you haven't checked it out, give it a whirl. If you haven't seen the film, I recommend go and see the film first. But anyways, you can see there, my most recent mini review is, of course, of Kraven the Hunter. Went and saw it last night. Really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good film. I know a lot of the critics are hating it, but I don't give a shit because critics don't know shit anyways. So, anyways, definitely check it out, people. Worth a watch.
It's the word of mouth, Cyber. We all know that. It's the word of mouth that will carry the film.
Yes.
Saber.
So, anyways.
Saber, before we go, did the rhino did this like very weird screech in the film, like it was I'm hearing something that the actor did that was so unintentionally funny. Tell me that it did not happen in the theater, sir.
If you're asking if he did something comical, yes, he did. Okay, and it was funny as fuck.
Okay, cool.
It was funny as fuck. I don't care what people are saying on YouTube. I don't care. I'm so sick and tired of people just killing films because they don't like it. You know, it's called an opinion for a fucking reason. So don't forget that, people. Don't judge by what other people say. You can take the recommendation. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is give things a chance before you completely shit on it. But anyways, once again,
that's
film.
True, sir. There's definitely several YouTubers that we won't name by name or anything like that. Not that I'd be able to just pull them out of my hat anyway to name them, but there's several that we all know of that routinely shit on movies left and right, like never ending shit on movies, you know, and find all these stupid reasons to hate them. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. But what are you going to do? People want to get their views, you know, get their stats up. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's Nightshade Holloway. Oh, what's up, Nightshade Holloway? So, yeah, hey, you know what? Good review, guys. I really enjoyed it. You know, I was feeling the spirit of the Bleeding Edge tonight. Feels good to be live. Really happy and enjoyable that we had people in the comment section. Sorry if I was oblivious to you there in the beginning, but I noticed you now. Appreciate all of you who stuck with us. Appreciate Cyber. Appreciate Andres for, you know, doing the review and being here with me. And Cyber will be back moderating next Friday when we do Broken Arrow. That'll be fun. And we'll be having some actual guests besides us coming on the shows again coming here soon. So, you know, besides that, the three of us will be back together for Doom Prophecy episode 5 on Monday, 9:35 p.m. Eastern. And until then, God bless everybody. We are out of here, and we had a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the show.
やめろ! どうだな! 助けに来た男に殺される気分は! 鉄十字団に恨みを持つ麻薬刑事さん。スパイダーストリング格闘技世界チャンピオンスパイダーマン